Okay, so what is next? Well, today we got a deck profile of the Lord Slug deck because we did get some new cards from Clash of Fates and a few more new cards from Destroyer Kings that are about to be coming out in about a month or so. So we think that it's going to revamp the deck and pretty much help it be more consistent and bring out its top combos and kind of make it a lot more competitive. So just going right into it, we're going to talk a little bit about the cards, but we're just going to kind of rush through it, just save on time. If you didn't know what Lord Slug does, basically he's a Namekian and he has a special trait, Slug's Army. So most of the cards do have that same Slug Army trait. His on his front side, his active main. Once per turn, choose one card in your life, add it to your hand. This card gains critical for the duration of the turn, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't have anything else on that side, and it also is a draw two leader, so you don't get to untap the energy, which actually draw two helps because when he's awakening, his Lord Slug gigantified. His auto is he draws one card when he attacks, then activating once per turn, he places one card from your hand, then your opponent chooses one card from your hand and then places in a drop area. So you both of you guys basically drop one card, one for one in that scenario. So we do need a few more cards in the hand to kind of keep utilizing that effect so we don't burn ourselves out. So getting right into it, for that front side, for the Lord Slug, once per turn, take one card from life and you gain crit. We're going to be running 4 Furthering Champa, Destruction Champa, just kind of add some more umph to that. That way we can get double strike crit early on, and they can't be able to combo out with their like their super combos and things like that. It's just applying a lot of pressure early game without utilizing our energy as well, like using like self awakeners like intensifying power trunks and things like that because we already awaken ourselves. And if you didn't know what further destruction champa does, it basically for cost of one energy you get 10,000 attack combo power, and then also gives your battle card or leader card double strike. So it gets a double strike crit right there. Then for the new cards from the set 6, we have Wings, the Moral Booster. It has a barrier, and its permanent is you can only have one Wings, the Moral Booster, on the field, but it does reduce all Slug Army's cards in your hand by 1 energy. So that does help us get our plays out a turn earlier, and then it does help it cheapen out. That way we can get more Slug Armies on the field and be using some of their effects. A lot of their effects do have bond effects, so you do need another either battle card or Slug Army battle card on the field. And this is for the new set, and he's only just a 1-drop, so he really utilizes him in this deck. Then we're going to be running 4 Defensive Stance Piccolo. I chose this super combo over the other super combos, like the other Namekian super combos, because it gives you a 10,000 power boost, combo boost, no matter what. And then if your life's at 4 or less, then you could just draw one. He also is a Namekian as well, so we can use him with a Simulate as well, so we can just grab our super columns at any point in time. Then we're going to be using Lord Slug Return to Form. He's a 2-cost battle card. When you play this card, his auto is choose up to 1 Slug Army card from your deck with the energy cost of 4 or less. Less and add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Basically, you can grab any Slug Army card except for our boss card, Titanic Ambition Lord Slug, but any card he can grab. And then with the Wings, the Moral Booster, he's only a 1-drop, so that just adds to our hand. And then he basically is part of the Bond 2 effect as well, so it just lets us set up our plays a lot better. Then we have Zwen, the Loyal. He's a blocker from the new set. Permanent is if we have a Lord Slug in our battle area or our leader area, we can play him for free. So he's a free blocker, and then basically you just need him just to, like I said again, set up for that Bond 2 effect. Then we have Adonic Warrior Angela. Has a critical and an auto bond of 2 Slug Army, so you do get the count itself. So he just needs another Slug Army besides himself on the field. When this card attacks, if your leader card is a Slug's Army card, then your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and places it in a drop area. So this is going straight for their hand every time we swing and keep them on the field. So we like to try to protect them. And then if they take the hit, if they don't combo out, then they take in a crit as well if we're attacking their leader. Then we're going to be running 2 Piccolo Cunning Strategists. And this is from the promo cards from the limited Colossal Warfare sealed event. And the reason why we're running 2 of him is just to kind of get our plays out early for that Lord Slug Young again, because his auto is Burst 3. Which is just sending the top 3 cards to your drop area. Then you can, when you play this card, you can choose up to 1 Namekian or Universe 7 card from your hand. With it, with its original cost of 4 or less and negate the skill for duration of turn and play it. So we don't get the Lord Slug Young Again skill when we play it, uh, but we do get to bring him out and then set him up for that evolve next turn. But he also gets a bond 2 effect, or he also counts as that bond 2 effect when we play any other of our Lord Slug cards. So going to Lord Slug the Young Again, auto is bond 2. We run 4 of these guys. He's just a 4 cost, but with Wings, the Moral Booster, he's a 3 cost. With Piccolo Cunning Strategist, he plays in for free. But when we do play him just normally, he has an auto bond 2 Slug Army, well 2 of course. When we play this card, we choose out the one Slug army card in a drop area with a cost of 3 or less and play it. So we're mainly going to be going for like a Donic Warrior. We're going to be trying to go for him that way because we can utilize the Bond 2 effect and take it from our opponent's hand. But after we play it, then we choose up to one of our energy and switch it to active mode. So it does give us 1 energy back. And if we played it for 3, we can do it on turn 3, get 1 of our energy back, and then still utilize our more combos. So that's why we play him, and that's why we want to try to get his effects from the drop area. So we play 3 Titanic Ambition Lord Slug. So this card is, in my opinion, really good in this deck, simply because it does have an X Evolve over 2, and you just place 1 card from your hand to the drop area over a Slug Army card with the energy cost of 4 or more. So Slug Army Young Again, you can just plop it on him, and then you can also pop it on itself every turn after that if you keep on the field. But his auto is bond 3, so you do need 2 other Slug Army cards on the field to get its auto. But when you play this card, choose up to 3 cards from your opponent's hand and place them in the drop area. So you get to choose randomly. They don't get to choose, but the randomly call is still pretty better than them deciding where they're going to go from their combos. Then for our side decking cards that we actually main, just because we don't want to be over swarm, and then pretty much this is all the Lord Slug excuse me, Lord Slug cards, Slug Army cards anyways, so we're going to be playing 2 Kami Global Fighter, just so, 2 Kami Global Unifier, just because we want to play this card and draw. When we play this card, we get to draw, and then if we're getting swarm and we're not really getting our pieces out early, we can just use its active main skills and just KO every card ignoring barrier that's under 4 or less, including itself, but we need to have our opponent have 4 or more battle cards on the field. Then, because we don't really like Shigash at all, Shigash is just too amazing of a card. We're playing 3 Time Control Konoas. When we play this card, we do get the draw as well, but then they won't be able to utilize Shigash's ability to bring out any more cards from its auto. Then we ran Toki Toki, the time creator, because we want options. When we play Toki Toki, basically we just use its auto to put it at the top of the deck, and then we can choose out Common Global Unifier or Time Control Konoba from our deck and play it and still get the draw from it. For our overwhelm cards, I know this sounds a little counterproductive because we do actually want our Slug Army cards in the drop so we can use that Lord Slug Young Again. But in the meantime, we're going to be using Dark Temptation Toa if we don't get our combos together. And since we play Piccolo Cunning Strategist, we don't really care so much about getting our cards from the drop. But as in, we're trying to go from our opponent's hand and then demobilize them. That way we can try to capitalize on game with the double Champa or further destruction champas and getting that double strike. So Dark Temptation Toa, what it is an overrun of 3 just for free. When you play this card with overrun, and if your leader card is yellow or green, which ours is green, it gets a boost of 5,000 attack power, and our opponent chooses 1 card from the hand and places it in a drop area. So we can kind of utilize that very well. And since our leader is green, we're using Shocking Death Ball, and we can KO our opponent when they attack. It does have a sparking of 5. Now I know we are overwhelming a lot too, but we're kind of resourceful with our energy, so we can still play this with just 1 energy at times. So it's not a problem. So we just negate the attack, and then we can KO a 2 or less battle card on the field. On our opponent's side. Then we're playing 3 Preemptive Strike because we do have a green leader, and if our leader card is green, with a cost of 2 energy, when our opponent plays a battle card that's 4 or less, it gets played in a drop area instead. So it just kind of takes control of the field again. And then we're playing 3 Assimilates because it does let us grab up to one of our super combos in our Lord Slug. So active main for a cost of 0, and any card that's a cost of 0 is pretty good in any deck. And since it does fit our deck well, we choose 1 green or yellow to mech in with an energy cost of 2 or less from our deck, and then add it to our hand. So the cards we will be choosing, there's only a few. It's our super combo defensive stance Piccolo and Lord Slug return from the youth. But that's kind of where we get our plays. If we already have our super combos, we don't really need them at the time. We get our Lord Slug return to form, and then we can grab our more wings, the moral booster when we play them because it lets us grab one Slug army card for less. So that's pretty much the deck combos that kind of go into it. Is obviously trying to get further instruction Champa early turn that we can apply a lot of pressure on our opponent, bring them down to 6, and then bring them down to 4 life by turn 2, or turn 3 if we go in second, and then capitalizing on time control Kanoa. That way they can suggestion things like that. And then Piccolo Cunning Strategies just lets us set up for our plays. The combos I typically use is Piccolo Cunning Strategies if I don't have any of the like the wings moral boosters, or I have any Lord Slugs or Slug armies in my drop area, like it's going slow. I use Piccolo Cunning Strategies just to get that 3 burst of 3, and it'd be nice to get Lord Slug, but I'm really getting that burst of 3 so I can get that Toa Temptation Toa active, and then I can play Lord Slug. And if I have Titanic Ambition Lord Slug in my hand, next turn I'm going to evolve over that Lord Slug to make them drop 3. At this point, I'm going to be playing Dark Temptation Toa right after, so I got 3 battle cards on the field. I most likely wouldn't attack with Lord Slug or the Piccolo Cunning Strategist because I want to keep their hand at a minimum. So I make them drop 1 and attack with the Toa just because it's going to go away. And I probably attack with leader if the leader is on the crit side, or if it's on the awaken side. That way I can make them drop whatever they pick up as well. But the next turn they're going to drop 3 cards. And hopefully after that I can get my combos going, or have a preemptive strike to kind of hold them there, or shock and death ball to stop any progression. So that's just pretty much my Lord Slug deck. Like I said, a couple of these cards, like the Wing Morale boosters and Zwen the Loyal, aren't out yet, but it does make the deck a lot more consistent. It gives it a lot more option. That way, you're just not going for that 4 energy drop Lord Slug. You can do and 3 drop Piccolo Cunning Strategist. You can do this turn 3 easily with the Wing Morale booster, and then drop into Lord Slug turn 3 because it decreases it by 1. And it just has barrier. It's hard to get off. Like, I know there's a lot of cards that get around barrier these days, and especially in set 6. But this combo works a lot better at this point. But we'll see going into the meta what we need a side deck in, because Kami Global Unifier, it's kind of just in case we're fighting like against veggies and things like that. And Time Control Kanoa, it's just you just need it because Brawly decks are just too broken. Any yellow deck at this point with Shigashi's with Shigashi are just too broken. So we're always going to be playing those 3 time control Kanoa until Shigesh kind of just dips away like it did before. But they will probably side into like the no escape Gokus and things like that to stop the Gojitas. You can't side deck against everything, but we do have space for it. We have a limited space, but we do have space we can side deck for these cards. And with Toki Toki Time Creator, we can choose any one of those cards to bring out, because it lets you choose out any any one black battle card with an energy cost of 3,000 power from your deck. So most of the cards are side deck cards like Dende, Kami, and Time Control Kanoa, or 3,000, or a black card with 3,000 attack power or less. So yeah, that is my deck. If you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment or anything like that. Going forward, I'm going to try to revamp it, try and make some changes. So far, it's been doing very, very well against Janemba and even Gogeta and things like that. So I'm really liking this deck. I like it going forward. The hand control is nice. It's not cheap like Gogeta Shinron, or it kind of feels more like Cell to me, where you have to kind of earn your moves. And like by attacking your opponent, you just kind of give them no new hand. I have a very hard feelings about or Shinron hand control, just simply because it just kind of negs your opponent, negging yourself, and then going straight for your opponent's hand without any sort of offensive maneuver until your opponent's at 0, then giving your a monster or give you a battle card crit and attacking. It's kind of cheap in my mind, just because you can bring back any one of your cards for free with World Peace. But on this hand, like Cell, and in this deck, and even like Super 17, you have to earn it with combos, not just play like one card. But anyways, that's my feelings on it. However, going forward, Lord Slug is pretty good. I don't know if it's going to be meta or anything, because there's a lot of cards that attack green leader cards. That's going to be coming out set 6 as well. That kind of reverse effect and attack your hand. But going forward, this is a pretty good deck. So thanks, you guys. If you guys like, please subscribe and leave a like as well. Hope to see you guys next time with some more deck profiles.